We will wait until he joins in, so maybe it's a bit of better connection or something like that. Can
Can you hear me, Rajiv ji?
yes, now it's better.
Okay, great. I actually, I'm in a part of a geography where the connectivity is a little bit poor. So please forgive me for this. This whole area is a forest, so there's very little connectivity as such. But I wanted to tell you how happy I am to be here with you, and to be able to join you. My heartiest congrats to you, Dr. Singh, whom I can see here, and the many young people, including Sakshi, whom I believe I recognize. But just wanted to say, oh, I think the audio is really poor.
Yes.
I think the audio is gone again.
Yeah, it's breaking up. It's gone.
Sorry. I sorry about that. So I'm in a city where the connection is perhaps a problem because of the forest around me. I'm gonna try and move a little bit. I don't know if this works, Rajiv ji. Is this any better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. I hope I can keep the connection. But please guide me if I lose connection. What would you advise me to do?
Sure, no issues. We have host of things lined up, and we are also
Okay.
waiting Dr. Norma also. So, but I
Okay.
I I hope the connectivity improves and we can get you online because the kids have been waiting throughout the night. It's 3 a.m. You already know it's 3 a.m. here,
I know it's very
and
late for all of you. Um, but I want to say that I noticed that there's some incredible young people from schools across, definitely in Delhi and outside Delhi, perhaps as well. And I know many who are listening from other parts of the country. So I just want to say that I think it's fantastic that you've got young people. And the reason I also want to say how happy I am to see youth, apart from the fact that I think young people are absolutely at the heart of what you're doing here and you do every single year. To all the amazing young people who are joining us and will listen to this later as well, that I think it takes IFG and ACT now and the wonderful family from ACT now that have been at the helm of making this important event happen. And it's a 24-hour cycle for 2 days and 2 nights in a row. So it's really quite something. But I think it's really about bringing young people together, because where I come from, if you're able to hear me right now, I want to tell you, apart from being in a very inspiring sort of surrounding, which is sort of in the depths of nature. I want to say in our work, where with the POP movement, where POP stands for Protect Our Planet, we're about really sort of bringing young people, the 1.8 billion youth of the world, together to take action on the issue of climate change. And when I say we take action on the issue of climate change, it's about using knowledge as the basis and the science of climate change to inspire that action. And I believe events like this are absolutely key in not only bringing young people together, but using the platform that ACT Now has opened up to all of us right now to exchange knowledge, to exchange experiences, wisdom. And this includes opportunities and challenges. I think it's very important for us to stop and listen to what the challenges are, because the only way we can really overcome them is by talking to each other and exchanging lessons, and also finding people who are trying to tackle very similar and also different issues and come together in the process. And really the POP movement is about exactly this. And I happen to be in an area which is dense forest. But what I want to say, and I think you've probably been hearing from a number of amazing speakers who've been on the agenda, that we have to understand we are one with nature. There is no way for us to be able to foresee a future unless we understand the unification and the fact that we cannot begin to even fathom achieving any of what we're setting out to achieve unless we see the unification that we have inherently with nature. And in that, really, we have to understand that it's going to take protecting our planet, and it's going to take protecting nature, and doing this through action, and inspired action founded on the science of climate change. And therefore, education is a very critical part of what we're trying to achieve at the POP movement. And the POP movement was founded by, our chief mentor, late Dr. R.K. Pachori, who led the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change for 13 years. And as he did, and he sort of led the pivotal sort of body of science on the issue of climate change, he was very convinced that it would take a groundswell of action led by the youth of the world. And I'm going to ask anybody who's in the room to share with me why you think the youth of the world will play a critical part in addressing this issue. Let me ask any of you. I know all of you guys are like super inspiring, in my mind, inspiring young people. So I'm very excited to hear from you about why you think youth will play a central part.
Dr. Ash, thank you so much. I'll throw open the forum to the student, but let me introduce Dr. Ash. He is not only the co-founder of the POP movement, the Protect Our Planet movement. He is also the president and secretary of and the member of board of the World Sustainable Development Forum. And he is such a fine human being that an entire 24-hour show is the one person that I look forward to. That one person. In fact, this show has been made possible by him. How we got introduced, I was fortunate enough to have worked a little bit with Dr. Rajendra Pachori, late Dr. Rajendra Pachori in Finland and several years. So when I was looking for this event, I was hunting around for people. I just messaged Dr. Ash. And from that little message or email till the day, we have been such good friends. And I'm so grateful to him. Every time I message him, his bang comes back the answer and with a positive reply. In fact, some of the guests here on this show is through him and because of him. And we are also trying for Ban Ki-moon because he is the famed Secretary General of the United Nations. And we also made contact with him, but unfortunately he's traveling. He's the one who gave you that quotation, there's no plan B because there's no planet B. And hopefully one day we'll have you on the show as well. So Dr. Isis, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you. We also have Dr. Norma Munoz, who has been the climate president to the Climate Change Council to the president of Mexico. But as Dr. As put up a question, and Dr. As, this is we had students before that also. This time we thought we'll dedicate the entire slots to these students. There are 60 odd students from Brookfield International School, Chandigarh and Modern School, NCR, Delhi, and from Lucknow School and Springfield in Moradabad. And you won't believe for past 7 days, we have been training them up. They have been on the screen, off the screen in workshop with teachers and us for non-stop. And today also there are certain students who have been here since this show started 12 o'clock. So he has been here for almost 15 hours now, and they're not letting go. Some of them, in fact, changed their vacation plans. They told parents, we are not going, we will be on the show. So I'm so grateful to them because ultimately this show is completely geared towards making them not only aware, but be a strong warrior for the planet. So I'll throw open this forum to the students, to the questions that Dr. As put. Anybody wants to pose the question, please raise your hand. We'll bring you up on the screen.
Yes. Please, I'd love to hear from you, and then I want to acknowledge Rajuji as well. Please go ahead.
Question, sir. Thank you so much for the question. So I think as today's youth, we can absolutely move mountains. And I feel like today, we as youth, we have innovation, we have creativity, we have the confidence, the responsibility and the power to carry out our actions. And as Rajiv sir and all our guests have said repeatedly, that we are not scared of authority. Like, we'll go bang on a politician's door if we feel like they made a policy that is not being implemented towards the environment. We're not scared of authority because we have a bold, free spirit that, urges to express itself. So I think that youth really is the heartbeat of today's planet, and we can absolutely move mountains. And with the innovation and guidance of all the speakers today, the session today was such an eye opener. I definitely think that we as youth can make a world of difference to our earth.
I
That's
hope
beautiful. I love that. And thank you so much for sharing, Barminder. I think that's absolutely on the mark. Okay, we've
Ranju,
got,
also want
yes,
to say
please, yes,
something.
please go ahead. Yes, please go
Also,
right
morning,
ahead.
Ash, Dr. Ash. This is Dr. J.K. Singh. You can recall it, I feel.
I Dr. Singh.
Greetings,
So
sir.
great to see you, Dr. Singh. Thank you so much. You please, good evening. Go right ahead. It's more like good morning on the middle of the night for you, but please talk to me.
yes, JK sir, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Now,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Brahmjot would like to say something.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Greetings, sir. As you asked the question, so I would like to make some changes there. And like you said that we don't have any authorities, but I personally feel like we are authorities of ourselves, so that we can control ourselves and move our mind however we want to. And if we have authorities, we don't have official authorities. It's all over us, and we can get some advice or some help from each other. But we have the full control over ourselves, and we can surely move mountains if we go through and
Absolutely.
beyond that line.
I'm a big believer. I indeed am a big believer in that as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing that, Brahmjot. Thank you. And have you got anybody else who wishes to speak? Okay. Well, I wanted to say, well, first of all, I want to acknowledge both of you, and those are really, really important and inspiring voices. And I couldn't agree more that, one of the reasons that at the pop movement we're focused on the youth of the world is for precisely the reasons that you described. And I think that there's absolutely nothing that would stand between you and a secure future, secure and sustainable future. And therefore, there's really nothing that young people are not able to do if youth don't put their minds to it. And I think that's precisely it. The fact of the matter is that we do have an issue to face, and we can, and I want to just highlight this point, we have a window of opportunity where we can still address this issue. And therefore there is hope. And the way that we see it at the pop movement, youth is that hope. And come together and we were to use the science of climate change and the knowledge and action and informed action to adapt at the level of mitigation and to address is that, we have a tipping point. And therefore, there are still things we can do, but it will take the mobilization and the collectivization of young people. And one of the important things that both of you highlighted, and I'm sure many of you, like Rajiv ji just said, that there are so many people in this room alone who have been up for a day and night and day, but continue to want to be part of this movement, which we are part of here together. And we're very fortunate to be able to be part of it, is because at the end of the day, we have the ability to also influence change. And you're right, Brahmjot, when you said that, we may not be in positions of policy making per se right now, but young people have the ability to influence policy. Young people have the ability to command a place on the table in decision making, Young people have the ability to influence change in terms of grassroots action, which will affect subnational, local legislation and municipalities. And what we need is subnational initiative. We cannot expect everything to happen at an international level and affect us on the ground. And therefore, taking action at subnational level is very, very important. And youth have the ability to do that. Youth also have the ability to influence change in schools and universities. Look at you guys. Young people have the ability to influence change in communities as far as neighbors and neighborhoods and communities go. And also, no matter what field of work young people adopt going forward, they'll take decisions, they'll make decisions that will be sustainable and will influence change in the right direction, which is what we have not seen happening, which is why we're in the position we're in. And this particular session is focused on the issue also of plastics, and Dr. Norma is going to talk more about that. So I won't plunge into the issue of plastic in particular as such, but I want to say that plastics, yes, are one among many of the challenges we face as far as climate change is concerned. And I want to tell you that it is a cause and a consequence, because we may not realize that, of course, we know plastics emerge from fossil fuels. Plastics are causing contamination in terms of everything. We know that today. In fact, as we speak, there's so many years later when we know that in the year before 2050 or even before 2040, we'll have more plastic than fish in the sea, because we're already getting there very rapidly. But plastic is so highly pervasive that with every meal we have, we're consuming microplastics. Plus, we are at a point where even breast milk has been found to have plastic contamination. So, we are consuming microplastics. We have health implications as a consequence of that. But there's the flip side, which is that apart from the fact that plastic is born out of fossil fuels, it is also a cause for emissions. About in 2019, approximately, and that's the year when pre-pandemic kind of timing, when emissions had actually fallen, 3% of global emissions were emerging from plastic pollution. So I just want to say, and of course it'll affect biodiversity and all forms of life. So plastic pollution is one among many forms of emissions and other environmental challenges that we need to face, and we do need to face these head on. So I'm really, really happy that we have the good fortune of having people who are oceanographers and marine biologists like Dr. Norma, who would speak to us about particularly ocean plastic pollution and its impacts. But I just want to say to you that at the POP movement, and I invite all of you to be part of the POP family. Rajiv ji is very much at the heart of it. I just want to say, yes, I have had the good fortune of meeting with Rajiv ji, being part of ACT now, and we will bring many more people coming forward, because I believe what he does with love and passion. What you guys are doing right now is with love and passion, and this is exactly what it takes. So be unstoppable, be the amazing people you are. Believe me, I believe in you with all my heart and soul. And that's what, we're about at the POP movement. We're about bringing young people together. And I want to say, just before I sort of open up to you guys, because you've got some amazing points to flag, that we will be coming together and hosting a POP festival. We host festivals, and the reason we call them festivals, they're exactly like the amazing event that you're in the midst of right now. It'll be in person after a long time. We'll be hosting it in New Delhi in February of 24. I will be in touch with Rajiv ji, Dr. J.K. Singh, and each one of you to find a way for the festival to be an important part of the pulse, the heart, and the heartbeat that you rightly described of everything you do. And I'm looking forward to, like they say, tomorrow's the first day of the rest of our lives. I'm looking forward to a great future together. Please believe in everything you do, believe in what you set out to do together as a global family, and believe in the fact that, yes, that young people, once they come together, are absolutely unstoppable. And I believe in the power of positive energy and positive spirit. And I know each one of you right now now, sitting there at an odd hour of the night and day and night, to listen in and to be inspired and to share your voices. Believe in this with your hearts as well. And I will be with you at every step of the way. So with that, I just want to say thank you very much for this incredible opportunity to be here, to speak with you about the pop movement, to tell you that I'm blessed and grateful to welcome you, to all of you, to the pop movement, and that we're a global family ultimately. Let's keep that close to our hearts. I won't take too much more of your time. I'm sorry about the initial little glitch with connectivity, but I hope you're able to hear me clearly. I can definitely hear you, and now it's time for me to hear you guys speak. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you so much, Rajiv ji, Dr. Singh, Dr. Norma, also for being here, and each one of you beautiful people. Thank you once again. And let me open up so that we can have a conversation.
Thank you, Dr. Ash. And
Thank you.
I have been telling my students all about you all this along also, and they are so impressed. And I told them also, we have so many opportunities for you. And what I want them to do, no matter what trade, what business, what career they choose in life, they all stay true to the climate warrior that they should be. And the pop movement, I've already introduced to them the fantastic movement of youth that they have. And they'll be soon enough meeting lots of pop mentors in following sessions. And they'll be also meeting Hazi Kazi, he was the one that you suggested. He's having examinations, but still kind enough to send his videos along. And thank you, Dr. Ash, so much. I hope you stay put at where you are right now, because we could hear clearly whatever you said. So you got to be there for the next 6 hours or 7 hours, because I'm looking forward to.
I'm going to stay put. I promise you, I'm right here. And I'm very, very grateful to be here. And I just want to say, yes, we do have a number of people from the pop family, but I don't consider ourselves different. We are one family, and I just want to say that Rajiv ji and Aknau are at the heart of everything we do. And so, we're so happy to be here together. And I can assure you, today, tomorrow, and every day, I will be by your side, right by your side. Thank you. Thank you for the great blessing.
Before we turn on to Dr. Norma Munoz, we have Barbara from the lovely Latin country of Peru, and we will show a couple of videos, just introductory videos from POP and WSTF. Can I request JK sir to play track B41, a little introductory video on the POP movement?
Mucho gusto.
I'm deeply concerned for the youth of the world, because these risks, these disasters, and the terrible impacts that they have are going to become much more intense and much more frequent. So I would say that it's the youth of the world who have to take the lead. I've launched something called the POP movement, which stands for Protect Our Planet. And what I see as a great source of inspiration is young people taking the lead.
POP movement is a movement and an initiative which is global in nature and works to build capacities and leadership of young people around the world to take action on issues of climate change. We have spread around different parts of the world, in North America, in Europe, in Asia, in China, as well as in India, where we're working with young people to take action on issues of energy, of transport, waste, including plastic waste, as well as on issues of water as well as food sustainability, to join the movement and protect our planet.
I am here to present the POP movement team from Germany. As a POP team, we believe the time is running out for our planet. So, we founded ourselves in 2017 to work at reducing our CO2 emissions.
Hi everybody, I am Irene and we are working on a lot of things here in China and try to integrate all stakeholders to work together achieve one goal, protect our planet.
We make a call for all the young people in the world to take a step ahead with love, passion and courage.
Be pop.
Be Youthquake.
Protect our planet.
The 16 hottest years ever recorded on Earth have occurred since the year 2000. These facts and the predictions for the future they reveal mean the world of the future may not look much like the one we enjoy today.
I have some bad news to tell you. We have broken all-time records in concentrations of main greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, methane and N2O.
What is particularly important is not only a debating platform, we also need to ensure that there's action. And the WSTF is not only going to promote action all over the world, but also monitor it so that we know that we're doing adequately in every part of the globe to meet the objectives of this organization.
It is our objective, changing the conversation to green jobs, about how healthcare would be enhanced by climate objectives, about how you can cut the cost of energy, how you can get cost of living down, all with climate objectives in mind. Then it becomes good politics.
That we don't have to wait for our national governments or in the national institutions.
Now, what you need is timely treatments, because otherwise, tomorrow can be too late.
We can contribute further to mobilize world public opinion as well as governments to fully implement the climate change accord that we achieved in Paris.
But there is also reason for hope. Renewable energy, clean fuels, and putting a price on carbon are beginning to turn the tide. But we must scale up these solutions and get them in the hands of everyone everywhere right now.
We will win that global battle against climate change because basically we have two great allies: public opinion, global public opinion in general, and also science that is demonstrating the need, the urgency to act if we want to protect our planet and to let future generations live in our planet.
I'm personally committed to making a green energy future my next crusade. We want to get everyone involved in this crusade. Regional governments, businesses, finance partners, NGOs, clean technology companies, academics, everybody.
Starting right here and now, let's write the next chapter together.
Can I also request JK sir to play track V43? That is a Titanic hero Leonardo DiCaprio. So I think the youth will be much more impressed with him as well. So then after we'll turn on to Dr. Norma Munoz for her presentation. And Dr. Ash is going to be here throughout for this session and the next session too. Dr. JK Singh, track V43.
Hello, everyone. I truly wish I could be there in person, but I look forward to future opportunities to meet and discover solutions for the issues that we all deeply care about. Climate change is the issue that we all must be profoundly alarmed by. For the past 3 years, I've been on a remarkable journey making the documentary film Before the Flood to show how this crisis is changing the natural balance of our planet and threatening our future on it. I've been to cities like Beijing that have been choked by industrial pollution. I've seen ancient boreal forests in Canada that have been clear-cut, and rainforests in Indonesia that have been incinerated for natural resource development. In India, I met farmers whose crops have literally been washed away by historic flooding. In America, I've witnessed unprecedented droughts in California and sea level rise flooding the streets of Miami. In Greenland and in the Arctic, I was astonished to see that ancient glaciers are rapidly disappearing well ahead of scientific predictions. I also heard from the best scientists at NASA and some of the top researchers at our great universities, and there's absolutely no doubt amongst these experts, indeed no doubt among more than 99% of the world's top scientists who study this issue, that climate change and the environmental crisis we have witnessed are a direct result of human activity. These top scientists also warn us that the impacts will become exponentially worse in the not-so-distant future. 15 of the 16 hottest years ever recorded on Earth have occurred since the year 2000. These facts and the predictions for the future they reveal mean the world of the future may not look much like the one we enjoy today. In addition to rising sea levels, there will be millions more climate refugees fleeing starvation. There will be flooding, there will be droughts, and conflicts over shrinking resources. Natural forest wildfires that once burned a few months a year during the summer will soon rage all year long. And storms like Hurricane Sandy or Katrina, which should happen only once in 100 years, will now happen more often and cause even more damage. But there is also reason for hope. Renewable energy, clean fuels, and putting a price on carbon are beginning to turn the tide. But we must scale up these solutions and get them in the hands of everyone everywhere right now. Because this transition is not only the right thing for our environment, it makes clear economic sense. Ladies and gentlemen, 99% of all plant and animal life ever to exist on planet Earth has appeared and disappeared before the arrival of industrial humans. The Earth doesn't care if we are here. We're not trying to save the Earth. We're trying to save our quality of life. Indeed, for many, our very survival on this planet. We have waited too long to take action to address climate change. But if we band together, we can build the future we want. Winston Churchill said, "History will be kind to me, for I intend to write it." Starting right here and now, let's write the next chapter together. I'm going to leave the rest up to the head of my foundation, the brilliant Mr. Tamminen, who single-handedly created some of the most important environmental policies in the state of California. Considering it's one of the largest economies in the world, Terry is an expert in integrating green technology with economic progress. I want to thank you all so very much for your time and for your commitments to protect our fragile planet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, JK, sir. And that was introductory videos from the Protect Our Planet, WSDF. And we had this word from Dr. Ash Pachori. I must assure the students you have created many opportunities, not only with ECNO, but we have partners with many organizations, and Protect Our Planet is not only in partnership with them, but they are like our family, our big family from around the world. And soon enough, because of Corona, we couldn't hold physical conferences. And I'm in discussion with Dr. Ash Pachori for something even bigger on that. But whatever we do, however we go about it, remember that our main focus, our target is you. You are on target. Because we have pinned all our hopes on you. So, Dr. Ash, I'm so glad that we are back again into the same frame and we can hear you clearly out. I will now turn to Dr. Norma, who is all set to address these young students. She is one kind lady that I really appreciate, and every time a small message, she's always on board and ready to present with us. She will present you something very typical of Mexico and our current problems, and she put it in such a simple way that it's perfectly understandable by the small kids also. I won't go about reading her profile. She has a huge experience in climate actions, environmental sustainability. Maybe you can read her profile that I put to you in the group also. She has been advisor to many organizations, almost all organizations in the world, including the United Nations, many other branches of working. So Dr. Norma, over to you. Opening statement to the students. I'm sure the students will be putting up some questions to you also.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rajiv. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon for myself. Thank you so much for this invitation. I am very happy to be with you today, and particularly because we're going to talk about a very important topic that is plastics. And I will focus on plastic in the ocean, because that is my specialty. I'm an oceanographer. And then we decided to speak about this problem that we are facing all over the world, in all seas and ocean, and also at home and in the fields, in land, etc. I think that it's very important to say that the use of plastics the massive use of
Dr. Norma, your voice is breaking up a little bit.
is not so written. I am at home and my connectivity is okay. Now it's okay? Is better?
Yeah, it's better now. Yes, yes. There seems to be still some problem. While Dr. Norma is fixing up things, I must tell you. See, can you hear me, Dr.
Okay,
Norma?
thank you so much. Yeah, I was telling you that from the 50, the year. Now it's okay? It's better?
Yeah, it's coming, it's breaking up, but it's okay. You can go on.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Then until 2017, yeah. Hello? Can you
Yes,
hear me
yes.
better?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
hear you, but in between it breaks up. So
okay, maybe it would be better if I share my screen because I have
yes,
a
you may turn your screen off. So I think it could be.
presentation. Can I?
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes.
Wait a minute. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see
Hello?
the screen. Yeah, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Clear.
Thank you so very much. Then I was telling you that my talk will be focused on the ocean. Then in land, sooner or later, percent of the pollution
Dr. Norma, we still have
facing
problems with sound. Looks like internet is traveling today. We can't hear you, Dr. Norma. I think, Dr. Norma, if you can hear me, maybe we'll wait for the connection to become better. Then we can move on to some other things also. Please stay put with us. Let's see if the internet improves a little bit later on. Dr. Norma is joined from Mexico, and I requested her to talk about a bit of Sinaloa. They say, actually, I was watching a Netflix series, La Reina del Sur, that's the Queen of the South, which is fantastic story of women. I mean, got into drug business and all that. And she comes from Sinaloa. It's beautifully depicted in the series. So she works around the same area in Mexico, and it's a beautiful country to be in. It borders with America. So we'll wait for Dr. Norma because I think she has a bit of internet connectivity problems. And as Dr. As was telling you, we have this Pop Youth Festival, which is a huge festival in physical mode. So we have 4 or 5 days of climate actions, and it's like a big fun party along with climate actions, environmental awareness program. So we have been planning it for New Delhi this year, later this year, maybe when it becomes possible. And the similar version is hosted in New York, in America, and then in Mexico and other places of the world also. So maybe some of you will get opportunity to be there and present yourself. And we will soon in this session and next sessions also be hearing from Pop Youth mentors who are not only youth mentors, but they've been literally just like you are being reared out here. They've been reared by the pop movement around the world.
Puedes que no puedo tenerla, por favor. Sorry. Can you hear me, Rajiv? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Dr. Rama. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Now it's better? Can you hear me better?
Let me put you on the screen back again. So
Now?
yes, you're back on the screen. Just try saying something. Still, it's difficult.
Hi. Can you hear me, Rajiv?
No, it's breaking up, Dr. Rama. It's breaking up.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I don't know what happened here.
Yeah. Dr. Rama,
Sorry.
it's okay. You can stay put, and we'll wait for 10 or 15 minutes when the connection a little bit improves, hopefully. And meanwhile,
Okay.
I'll present some videos. We have a video from Haziq Kazi, who is a very young climate activist, and he calls himself 17-year-old tinkerer, environmentalist, and human being. He started his climate journey, environmental journey, when he was in class 8 in Indus Valley School in Mumbai. And then he presented an idea how to use a ship to clean oceans. So I'll request JK sir to play track V44. He's having his examination, so he couldn't join online, but he'll be soon with us. And he's a very impressive guy, and this use same age as they are. So I think they will take a cue from him also. So JK sir, can you play V44 while we work out with Dr. Norma with her internet connection if it improves?
Someone once said, the world of reality has its limits, but the world of imagination is boundless. My feet stay put, but my mind travels far and wide. They tell us kids not to daydream, but I'm not one to listen. My name is Haziq Kazi. I am 17 years old, and I am a dreamer. Since childhood, I loved spending time alone, lost in my own imagination. There's a secret world in my head where anything is possible. There are no rules.
8 million metric tons of plastic trash.
As I grew up, I started to imagine a better planet and decided to do something about it. I chose the cause of reducing plastic pollutions in the seas. One day, I was washing my hands, lost in thought, and I noticed the water swirling down the sinkhole. And then, suddenly, I realized I can use the same concept to suck waste from our oceans. I imagined and designed an intelligent ship that uses the concept of a centripetal force to suck in the waste from the surface of the oceans, just like my sinkhole. After multiple attempts, I had the right prototype. I called it Ervis. Think about it. Plastic is everywhere. The magnitude my talks started to go quite viral. Is in front of us. I created a solution, but I've also fumbled and frozen on stage. In front of 5,000 people. Now that was a terrifying moment. But then I closed my eyes, and once again, imagination came to my rescue. I could feel the ocean breeze, hear the waves, and see the horizon. I calmed myself down, took a deep breath, and finished my speech.
That can have a big impact.
What started as a panic attack finished as a standing ovation.
My story is about using my daydreams and my imagination to create a better planet. Today, Airvis is just a prototype, but I will keep on spreading the message till it becomes a reality and enters our oceans.
They tell us kids not to daydream, but my dreams will change the world.
I have a question for you. Anybody in the audience who doesn't have plastic today? Anybody? Well, think about it. Plastic is everywhere. The buttons on your shirt, your mobile cover, the water from the plastic bottle you just had, plastic money in the wallet, maybe. It is interesting how plastic has become an integral part of our lives and how we cannot go one single day without it. You know what that makes me think? How my generation is inheriting not just this legacy, but also the problem that comes with it. The problem of what we throw in our oceans. Hello everybody, my name is Hazikazi. I am 12 years old and I alone have a plastic debt of roughly 66 tons and counting. So, in case you're wondering, what is plastic debt? It is the amount of non-recycled plastic which is we humans leave behind on this planet. How many Indians in the house today? Raise a hand, please. According to study, for every person in India, 6 tons of plastic is not recycled annually. Any Americans here? Your figures are even more astounding. 90 tons per person of plastic, which is not recycled annually. Imagine in a lifetime how much plastic is left behind because of us. When we die, our bodies go back to Mother Earth. But the plastic debt is left behind as a legacy for the coming generations. Did you know that by 2050, we will have as much or maybe more plastic in the ocean than fish? Speaking of which, every time I see people eating fish, I wonder, are they eating fish or plastic? Because the plastic we dispose that ends up in the ocean might have been consumed by the same fish which gets on our plate. Talk about the vicious karmic cycle. The magnitude of the problem inspired me to do something about this. Hence, I came up with an idea of an invention that will help make the oceans a cleaner place. An ocean cleaner called Airvis. Airvis is an intelligent ship which sucks waste from the ocean surface and cleans it. It all started 2 years back. I saw some documentaries and a TED Talk of Boyan Slat about how he wanted to clean the oceans. A few days later, as I came home from playing football, my mom asked me to wash my hands. And as I went to the sink to get the dirt off, I observed a whirlpool of water going down the drain. An idea came to my mind, and I smiled. I drew and created a rough model. A circular ship with saucers attached. A very futuristic design, much like the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. Come on, We all love the series, right? This was just the first draft. The propellers weren't automated and it only lasted a full 7 seconds in water before coming apart. But there it was. My Elvis, my vision of changing the oceans. While guzzling down innumerable cups of hot chocolate, you know, I'm still a kid, no coffee for me. I did some exhaustive research to achieve my vision of Elvis, which is first, to clean the current waste floating in the ocean. Second, to analyze the data from the waste which we collect. And third, to stop it at source, which is getting disposed by the ships. I also realized that a circular shape was not very efficient, and that I had to redesign my ship to be more hydrodynamic. So I worked with scientists and engineers to create a more bleeding-edge model. So here's how it works. The ship is essentially a large boat powered by solar and renewable natural gas with various compartments and saucers surrounding it. The saucers float on the surface, gravitate to create a whirlpool to pull the waste toward its center, which is then sent through a tube to various chambers in the ship. The chambers include an oil chamber, which collects the waste oil. The next 4 chambers are for large, medium, small, and micro waste, respectively. Just imagine Elvis to be a gigantic vacuum cleaner with many cleaning tubes attached to many dust bags. Once the waste enters the chambers, Elvis analyzes, segregates, and compacts it, and pumps the filtered water back into the oceans, all without harming marine life in the process. Elvis the ship will be my contribution in making the Earth a better place. And I hope in some way it can inspire you to find your idea which can bring a positive change in the world. Thank you.
I will try to raise Dr. Norma again. Dr. Norma, can you hear me? Let's see if your connection
I can hear you. I hope that
Yeah,
is much better.
It's a lot better. We can hear you a lot better. Meanwhile, let me welcome Barbara. Barbara, can you hear me? She has a problem with Spanish and English, but I think Dr. Norma can translate also. Barbara,
Okay.
Norma is here. I don't know whether can you say something, Barbara? She's a lovely, fantastic country of Peru.
Hello, Rakib.
Yes, Barbara.
A ver, sí. Hello. Congratulations for the conference. Is very important for the all people, all students to increment the conscience.
Tendré que volver a
to-
compartir, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Dr. Norma, can you tell her to speak in Spanish and maybe you can translate a bit?
Okay.
Gracias,
Thank you.
Bárbara.
Thank
Gracias.
you.
Gracias. Adelante.
Sí, en realidad yo felicito este evento. Lamentablemente he estado súper ocupada, por eso que recién el día 3 me he registrado. Me hubiera gustado también compartir lo que hacemos nosotros aquí en mi país, en Perú. Estoy muy contenta de estar participando. No puedo estar en todos ellos porque todavía sigo con los problemas familiares y estoy en los momentos que tengo el tiempo libre, estoy tratando de participar y de ver lo importante que en realidad es la participación tanto de las personas, de la sociedad en general, como de los estudiantes. Sobre todo los estudiantes. He ahí la labor importante de los maestros. Los maestros, yo creo que sobre todo a nivel de habla hispana, ¿no? De Latinoamérica, todavía nos falta. Y el problema vital, como las tengo yo, ¿no? Es el idioma. Es el
Voy
que
a
nos pone
traducir, permíteme.
Nos
Voy a
pone un límite, nos limita, ¿no? En realidad, esto es importante. Yo ando motivando
Barbara,
en las
Barbara,
escuelas.
let her translate a bit because stop for a while so she can translate and
Okay,
understand and then go on.
thank you.
Dr. Norma, tell her
Congratulations,
to
thank you.
speak in small sentences so you can translate a bit.
Yeah, gracias, gracias, Bárbara. Well,
No,
what
de
she's
nada, más bien, gracias, Norma.
De nada. What she's telling us is that she's very happy to be here. It's a big congratulations for you and for all the people who was organizing this event. She feels very sorry because she couldn't stay for a long time in the meeting because she's very busy and she has some familiar problems now. But in any case, is very happy to see that a lot of people from the civil society and students and professors are working with you. And she thinks that despite the English that she cannot speak, that is a problem in Latin America. People doesn't speak any English mainly. Well, even that she wanted to share with you some problems from Peru. That is a common problem in Latin America. But in any case, she will follow you, she will stay here, and she will learn from you. ¿Qué más quieres decir, Bárbara?
Dr. Norma, can you tell her,
yes.
because she's like family and we have been together for many, many years now. And once around in 2012, when this United Nations conference was happening, I'd taken a group of students to Argentina, Brazil, and we stayed in schools and with people who did not speak a single sentence. And we stayed for 8 days using sign languages. Can you imagine? And we visited Iguazu Falls and some very remote place in Argentina and Brazil. And we had planned for Peru also. It's a fabulous country with some very protected Amazon forest and Machu Picchu that we keep on reading in stories only. So one day we are going to there. And because I keep on looking for families all around the world. So I keep on looking for families in Peru, families in Argentina, families in Brazil. So thank you so much. And if Barbara wants to say something else, she is most welcome. And then I'll turn on to you because your connection is better now. And then we'll put some students to interact. They are looking forward. They watch all these Mexican series and serials on this Netflix. And so they're very interested in asking questions to you also. So,
si gustas decir algo más, Bárbara, si no, bueno, él está muy contento de hacerte saber, por supuesto, que somos una familia, que ellos han visitado varios países en América Latina, que a base de señas se han podido entender, porque no hablamos inglés en muchos de nuestros países, pero que eres muy bienvenida y que espera visitarte muy pronto en Perú para poder establecer vínculos muy estrechos.
Muchas gracias muchas gracias y además te espero, Rakif, hace tiempo, hace años estás queriendo venir y no vienes a Perú, igual que al Calaimaní también, estoy esperándolos y nada.
Okay, she said that thank you so very much, and she's waiting for you since many years ago, and she hopes that you will arrive one day to Peru.
Yeah,
she's waiting for you.
It's very expensive to travel, and I keep on telling these students also, these are some fabulous places on this planet. Mexico, Latin America, some very protected forests, very natural forests, still preserved, unlike US and but it's not so much known in tourist circles. So our students head to US, Europe, and all sorts of destinations which have nothing of value in environmental concerns. But anyway, and also all I keep on telling the bad and good, everything, all the drugs that come from Brazil, from Mexico, and from all sorts of these places. But this culture is very, very rich still. And I think some parts of Asia, like India, Southeast Asia, Sri Lanka, and Latin America, even Mexico, these have 70% of the world's natural history and natural preserved lands left. Rest Europe is completely barren, US is completely barren, and that is where the big part of our struggle also comes. We recently had a change of guard in Brazil, and there was the the president, I won't name him on the show, but he started cutting down the Amazonian forest, and there's so much resistance all around the world, including in India. So, and ultimately the government has changed. Now the things are improving a little bit better. So now I hand it over to you, Dr. Norma, for your presentation, because it's better. It's not lots better now.
Gracias, Bárbara. Thank you so much, Reggie.
No,
Okay, I
gracias
think that
también.
Gracias a ti. Estaremos en contacto. Gracias. I think that I need to share again my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Then I go ahead again. Good. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yes.
And you hear me better, you said?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
better.
Okay, good. Then I was telling you that 80% of the marine pollution comes from the land, and we need to take care because whatever we do on the rivers, even upstream, all the waste and all the things that we are putting on the river will go soon or later to the coastal area. Then pollution goes to the marine area and from there to the ocean. And of course, the coastal area, the coastal zone is the most productive area and very high biological region. Then it's very important to fix this. What are the contaminants that we get and we put in the coastal area and on the marine pollution? Everything what you think about pollution is already there in the sea. Let's say pesticides, chemical waste, cleaning agents, petroleum, mining activities and waste, garbage and sewage. You can see here, this is a very common picture that we can find all over the world, even in very rich areas where hotels are very rich hotels. Normally they use this kind of pipes to send out all the wastewater to the sea. That is very common. And then you can see that the urban solids means the garbage that we have at home finally ends also to the coastal area. What is the problem? That there, the marine life, whatever mammals, reptiles, some of them that they are on the surroundings of the coastal area, birds, turtles. You saw already many pictures about those animals with some straws on the nose, turtles. When you see a whale that is in Mexico, I saw one no long time ago, a whale that was with the net of a fisherman on his neck. It was a male. And then what people can do, that is horrible. And here you can see also that we have the mask. What happened during the pandemic? How is possible to get in the sea all the masks that people was using in the cities? Of course, they put it away everywhere, not in the right can, directly to the waste, directly with people who's removing the waste from home, and finally arrives to the coastal zone. That is a question that I want to do. I want to send it to you. Did you know that every year the ocean, and we have only one ocean, we don't have many oceans, you see? I will put it somewhere here. Okay. Every year we receive approximately 8 million tons of plastics of all kinds. We have many kinds of plastics. Then, if we can contribute to stop this contamination, what do we need to do additionally? How we can stop it? And that is a question. And finally, the policymakers and the governments can stop the plastic pollution. Do you think that is possible? This is a map where you can see we are talking about patches of plastic or circles of plastics around the ocean. We have on the Pacific region, on the Atlantic region, the Indian Ocean, the Yellow Sea, that is this part also belongs to the Pacific and the North Pacific. And you can see that those patches or those circles are related mainly to the circles where the ocean is moving, the gyres where the ocean is moving. For that reason, they go inside these areas in the Pacific, more to the north and less to the south, except for the Indian Ocean, where you have a lot of plastics. You will see now. This is the amount. In the North Pacific, you can find pieces, means can be a piece of a plastic or a whole plastic or something. You have something around in this patch in the Pacific, in the north, 2 trillion. What is a trillion? I will ask you very soon what is a trillion to give us an idea how many pieces we can find in those patches in the ocean. And then you have in the north 930 billion pieces. And how much they weigh? If we have 2 trillion, you have 192 million of pounds. That is the weight of the plastic that we can find in those circles, and so on. In total, we can say that something around 5 trillion pieces of plastics we have in our ocean. And that is terrified, really. That is something that we cannot allow anymore, and we need to do something. This is another kind of image that we have for the same situation: North Pacific, South Pacific, North Atlantic, the Mediterranean Sea. In many of the maps, the Mediterranean Sea doesn't appear. And why? Because they think that it's not so polluted. In reality, yes, we have a lot of plastic also, because you can see that the Mediterranean is something like the South Atlantic, something like that. You see the same amount that we have here in the South Atlantic area, and the Mediterranean is more or less the same. Then you can see the Indian Ocean is something around 1 trillion 300. You see, that is too much. This is what we see with another problem, not only plastic, because when we are talking about the patches, plastic is plastics in general. Can be plastics from, I don't know, many articles that we send to the sea. Can be nets from the fishermen. Can be also another kind of plastic, microplastics, that Dr. Ash was talking about, and Hasik was talking about also. And you need to know that when we are talking about microplastics, we can make a difference. We have microplastics, that is the fragmentation of the plastic that is going into the ocean with the time, of course. And microbeads, that is a different. The microbeads are also plastic, microplastic, but the difference is that these microplastics, they are produced by the industry of beauty, of cleaning. And how they do it like this: the microbeads are micro pearls that put it in the detergent or in the creams to have another activity. I don't know if you saw somewhere an announcement of the detergent that looks that they clean very, very good white clothes, and they are whiter every time that you wash it with this detergent. And why? Because the detergent has these micro pearls, the micro beads, and they are produced by the industry. And what they do, they reflect the light, and then looks like it's white. It's really white, but in reality, it's not the effect of the fabric itself, is the effect of the micropearls. Those are also very dangerous, and more dangerous than the others, because they go directly into the waters also, through the rivers. And how we can clean the water, how we can send it to the treatment plants to clean this water if we cannot separate this kind of pollution. It's very dangerous. Then what happened also, look, those nets that we call it a ghost net. Why ghost? Ghost because when the fishermen are fishing in the ocean, open ocean, or on the marine coastal area, if the net is broken, if the net is damaged, they leave the nets there. And we have vertical nets, and we have other kind of nets that goes from the bottom of the sea, and those nets can be kilometers and kilometers of net. Imagine how many tons of ghost nets we have already in the ocean. But you can see it's not only the net, it's also this kind of plastic with the floating system, and also when this is a kind of rope, and all the nets in our time are made from plastic. This is a turtle that was inside a net. It's a pity. This is an image, a picture where a diver is taking out a net, a fishing net from a coral reef. And when they are on the coral reef, the coral is dying, okay? This is very common to see where you can find plastics, marine mammals, or as I said, turtles, etc. Then it's not only to catch fish, the use of the net. It's only to entangle sea turtles, dolphins, porpoise, birds, sharks, seals, and more. And that is very horrible to see animals arrive to your lab with half of the neck is completely tangled with the net. It's terrible to see the animals that they are suffering. This is the difference between the microplastics and the microbeads. And okay, this is another picture what you can see when you are working on the coastal area. This is very common. Even in the Caribbean Sea, you can see places with this amount of waste on the beach, even the Caribbean Sea. And how is possible? Because first, the rivers are coming with the waste, and then the tide and the waves taking into the sea. But you have another problem. You have boats, the very big boats that bring tourists, 2,000 people, 3,000 people, and all along the trip, they are sending waste to the sea. Here you can find bottles from Asia, perfume from France, I don't know, a lot of things, sandals from India maybe. Why? Because people is putting everything in the water. And this is very common and very sad. The bird thinks that is food, and he is trying to eat a Fritos. Yeah, you know, a package of Fritos, but in reality it's only plastic. What we can do at home, because finally, if you are not working with some community, a big community, where you can take decisions together with that community, the government, or an association with the government, what we can do at home. This is something that is done already. It was a very big, when we had the WSDF in Mexico in the 2020, it was a very big campaign against straw. Now in Mexico, they are forbidden. They are using or in glass straw or metal straw or some paper straws that they are made with some very strong fibers, vegetal fibers. Then you can use, instead of to use a plastic glass, you can use like a bottle like this one that you can refill and refill and refill all the time, and you will not use any more glasses, plastic glasses. And if you go to the supermarket, okay, buy or make at home a bag in a fabric. Don't go to get in the supermarket. France forbidden since long time ago in the supermarket. In every shop, you cannot get any carton to bring your shopping, any bag, plastic bag to bring your shopping. If you don't have any bag, you go with your shopping in your hands. They don't mind. And they sell it in a very cheap price. Also, if you can avoid to buy this or to buy in packet in a small bag, you can have something like this, like a container in glass, of course, and put your ketchup there or whatever you want to do. If you can make a compost, you can do it if you buy all materials that they are able to be composted, okay? And after that, if you ask as a activist or as a student or your colleagues, your family, to compost what they have at home, the organic waste to make a compost, that will be very good. This is useless plastic and less ocean plastic, and POP is working very strongly with many projects to avoid the use of plastic and to promote the use of more than biodegradable plastics. Don't use any plastic. I remember when I was young, maybe 15 years ago, the milk, the juice, everything was bring to home in glass bottles. We didn't buy any carton, we didn't buy any plastic, anything was bring it home. That could be another way to promote that the milk, instead of Tetra Pak carton, to use again glass, because the glass you can use it again and again. The good news, I hope that is good, because United Nations will work now very strongly, is to establish a treaty or an agreement where at least the countries from what they call the COP. The COP is the cooperation of the parties, and every party is a country. These organizations from United Nations who bring us every year the COP, this year will be in Egypt, the COP 28, they are 195 countries. They expected to have this treaty with more than 200 countries. They just started 2 days ago. They opened in Paris. In Paris is the main, one of the main sites of United Nations. And then they expect to stop the pollution, the plastic pollution, by 2040. It's not so far away. But to do that, we need to work. We need to take seriously a commitment in an agreement to help and to do everything that is in our hands to be that one by one of us, and the second one, and the third one, and everybody will do the same. No plastic. Replace plastics at home. But you need to work with home. You need to work with your family, with your friends. You need to have like to multiply this effort all over around you. And this surrounding, your surrounding will be to another one. And the circle will be every time bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm sure that people will have a commitment, that people will stop to use plastic, and the people will understand why we are not the only ones in the earth. We have other species that maybe are more intelligent than us. I'm sure of that. Then please work on this. This is something that we need to make a reflection every day with everyone, and to stop to produce. Because sometimes they said to you, okay, but you are telling me to stop my company that is producing bags for the supermarket. Do it in private. I don't tell you to stop to do bags. to produce bags, do it, but in another material, not in plastic. Maybe it will be a little much more expensive because we were used in the past to go to the market, give me more, even if you don't need it. You were asking for more and more plastic bags for your shoppings. Please take it seriously in your hands. You are very young, but you are very strong. And like everybody's telling you, it's not your responsibility. But it was my duty when I was young in another way. Maybe I had different problems, but finally I was facing to create some possibilities for young people like me at the time. But when you see in my age that what you did was good, you're going to be very happy. You're going to be very happy and you will be committed to continue and continue until you cannot go anymore anywhere. Thank you so very much for listening to me. And I'm very happy that finally we can have a talk in a good way. Thank you so much, Rajiv, and thank you to the audience and to the kids that are here with us now. Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Dr.
stop.
Norma. Yes. If you can stop sharing
I
the
stop
screen.
sharing. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Dr. Norma. I know it's those all eye openers for the students. And yesterday we had our Vice Admiral, Dr. Pradeep Chauhan. India has 15,000 kilometers of border, and out of which 50%, which is 7,005 kilometers, is a coastal region. But unfortunately, marine life, blue economy, and these are not very known facts to the especially youth and young students. So what we have done in the Act Now Club also that we run with the students, we try to give them environmental action and environmental awareness also. In awareness program, we try to give them two ecosystems, one that they belong to. For instance, one in the living in the city, he can have urban kind of landscape. But for the awareness part, he has to choose something that is far away from his own ecosystem. Like somebody in a metro or a cosmopolitan city chooses sea and beaches and oceans as the ecosystem for awareness part, because they need to learn that they are very well connected. Everything that happens in the sea, under the sea, affects the life straight away in your metropolitan cities. And somebody living at the beach or ocean, near oceans, they have to choose an ecosystem which is maybe forest or peatland or something like that away from their ecosystems. So they need to understand the connectivity between ecosystems and how impact their lives. So thank you very much. I'm sure one of these days we are taking our student to Mexico, Peru, and Latin America to understand better. And you'll be happy that at 11:30 Indian time, that is about 7 hours from now, Susan Gardner is joining. She is the head of ecosystem division. And UNEP has been very kind to us. And when this ecosystem restoration was launched in 2021, Tim Christopherson was there live from Kenya. And after that, last year, we had Natalia Alexieva right from Sweden when UNEP was celebrating 50 years of existence. And Dr. Susan Gardner, because you might know her better, she has worked with the Mexican government and the government of America. She's a very powerful lady, not only because of the position she heads, but the kind of work she has done for women and girls empowerment and science and technology and environment all combined together. So women, girls, power, technology, science, and environment, how they can all be integrated together. And I think she was, my Spanish is not good, but she was the environmental scientist at the Centro de Investigaciones Biológicas del Noroeste, if I pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, so, Noroeste is correctly.
Yeah,
yes,
so,
of course.
So you know her a lot better than anybody else. So if possible, you would want to be in that session too, but it's too late in Mexico, I guess, around that time. So thank you so much. And please stay with us. I'm trying to raise up Dr. As, sure, whether he's in a very beautiful forest right now, but unfortunately forests do not give you better internet connectivity. So yeah, they don't go hand in hand. And we will be having two pop mentors, Komal and Drisha, whose work is phenomenal. They are young ladies, and they were in Mexico recently, I guess. I just saw some pictures. They're doing something. I'm just trying to raise them up, but please stay put with us.
Okay, sure. I will stay. Thank you so much. I will stay.
I will try to raise Dr. As. He always has so much energy to be with us. I think Drishya, because it's late into the night, they might have slept off, so I'm trying to raise them up anyway. So in the following sessions also, will be joined by Restore. This organization, they are doing fabulous work. It has started in Switzerland, almost in the place where internet originated, www. And Tim Crowther and their team has done some fabulous work tied up with Google. And when governments and bigger companies wanted to do some environmental work, they need access to data. What kind of tree can be planted, what kind of landscape, how much forest is left. Smaller NGOs, people like us, if you want to do a tree planting or take up some environmental project, it was so difficult because it's heavily, there's a huge cost involved in assessing the kind of land that you're going to restore. But Restore has provided this data. They have built up this platform, pulled up data from around the world. And if you're a member of Restore, you can simply make a map on the land that you want to restore or you want to do some ecological project. And they provide all the data free of cost to you. It will assess the land. It will tell you what kind of trees are there, what kind of native trees, what kind of water is inside, what kind of CO2 absorption limit is there. There's fantastic work they are doing. So Hema Bhatt, who is the South Asian lead from Restore, he will be joining us a little later on. I'm still looking for Drishya and Komal. Let's see if they have. Anyway, Dr. S is having problems with his connectivity, but I'm sure I'm going to put him on the screen. And he just told us also that we are organizing after a long time, we are trying to organize a pop youth festival in a physical mode, because that is much more fun to have a bit of environment to discuss, have a dance and a party and a bit of get together also along with environmental and climate actions. Usually, what happens that youth has a kind of, it's like that it's very boring work. And I keep on telling it's very, very interesting to work in the environmental sectors these days. There are so many huge opportunities, the kind of people you meet, the kind of work you do, it's so self-satisfying at the end of the day. So Dr. Norma, would you like to share some of your young moments, because there are a lot of students here. When you were young, what you were doing?
I was fighting to create some centers, research centers in my institution. I didn't tell you, but I worked for the national.
When you were 13 or 14? Don't tell me.
Oh, I was already 16 when I was trying to make this. I was on the high school. Yes. But I was always like this. Yeah.
Let's do. Who among the students is 16 at this point of time? Raise your hand, please. Anyone who is 16 or 15? Raise your hand. They might be sleepy because they have been here almost for 15 hours. I'll put Saina to. Okay. Saina, are you awake? Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Lots of coffee? Black coffee?
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. How old are you, Saina? Turn on your
Sir,
video,
13.
please.
Sorry,
13. So you want to know what Norma was doing when she was 13?
Sir, I'm unable to start my video.
Okay, just go on with the question. It's all right.
Yes, sir.
Ask any question that comes to your mind. Doesn't have to be environmental questions. It can relate to your youth, your teenage years as well.
What are your expectations which you would want us to meet when we grow up?
She's asking, what are your expectations from us? What you want us to become when we grow up? I mean, how would you like to see them when they grow up?
Well, I would like to see them very successful in the things that they believe, of course, in the studies, because we need to have a good preparation to be also successful. We need to know a lot of things in the field that we are interested, social field, biological field, whatever you want to do it and think that you are able to do it. You can achieve your dreams, your goals, your objectives, and that will be a good, advice that I can give you. Don't break down ever. If you don't succeed very quickly, you will do it, but you will need to try, because the things that you get with a lot of effort from yourself, they are the best. Nothing is free in this world. We need to work for, and when you get it, you will be very happy. That is my advice for you. And if you want to be the first in the world, do what you need to do, what you think that is the best way to do, and the best way to react and to work with your colleagues. Don't do it alone, because to work alone is not good. It's very difficult. Alone is difficult to do something, and you need to have a collaboration. You need to grow together with your colleagues, because they say in Spanish that two heads think much more than only one. You know, dos cabezas piensan más que una. That is in Spanish, and you need to believe in that. Okay, Saina, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Norma, I'm going to have a Spanish teacher with them because we are lacking one in our school, because it's so important, because most of Latin America and Mexico, they are little Spanish, and we need all that. So we
Yes.
have two more students, Kimaria and Barminda. Anybody of you want to go to Mexico? So you better make good friends with Dr. Norma, because she will take you to places you can't even imagine. I mean,
You're gonna be
we have,
welcome.
yeah, we have some excellent hosts in, they will treat you better than we can here. And when Dr. Norma is coming next year, or maybe this year itself, to Delhi, maybe we can take them to Sonipat, Brohini, or wherever you are, whatever
Sure.
places we have there.
Sure.
So
With pleasure. Yes.
Kimaira, you have been very active in the group. So any questions for Dr. Norma? How old are you? 13?
I will be 13 in another few days.
Okay.
Great.
Now tell Norma what you are going to do when you're 15.
When I am 15, I don't have any plans right now.
That's good. To not have a plan is a good thing.
So we'll see when we'll reach there. So that's
Any questions for Dr. Norma?
Yes, my
Any
question. My
It
question.
doesn't have to be environment based. It could be just any questions.
My question is, do you think today's youth is going in the right direction, or there is something that we have to change or we have to do to go in the right direction?
Well, I think that you are in the right direction, because you are preparing yourself, and you have your own beliefs in what is good and what is not good, because you are living the things right now. Maybe you listen to your parents, to your family. When I was young, like I said, no, when I was young, in my city was very clean, people was very friendly, and in the coastal area was very clean. We had a lot of fishes, and everything was very good. But now you are looking other things, you are watching other things, and those things that you want to change, you will do it, I'm sure. Then the direction is okay. Don't feel that we blame you, because maybe I did it when I was in your same age, you know. I think that we need to learn. We need to take in our hands what we have now, and to go for a better way, and for a better world, in our own meaning, in our own work, and together with somebody that thinks in the same way. You are okay. I think that you are right for the moment. Yes, very good. Thank you, Saina.
Okay.
No, it's the Kimair. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Just the Latin Spanish name don't get to us, and our names are a little difficult for you. So next question from Barminda. You have a question? I don't know how you guys are looking so fresh after 15 hours, but it's great. Barminda.
They are very open. They are very good. Your mic is closed, Barminda.
Unmute yourself. Yes, I have done it. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so a very good morning from India, ma'am. So I'd like to ask you that, whenever I talk about what I aspire to be, people always assume it is in the future tense. And of course, I've got plans for my future, but I see teenagers all around the world making a mark right now. So what advice could you give me, ma'am, as you've been an advisor of UNEP, UNESCO? So what advice do you have to give me as a part of today's youth to make a mark on the environment right now?
Well, what I think is that you need to continue. You need to be yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And if you want and you like to do this, you need to go ahead. Don't listen to others that they are not in the same line like you. They don't think in the same way like you. And try to convince them. If it's not possible, please go ahead. I had an experience in the last festival that we had last week here in Mexico, in the north of Mexico, with people who told me, very young people like you, a little maybe older because they were from the bachelor level. Why you don't want me to eat meat? I said, no, I don't say anything like that. I advise you for this and for this and for that. And then they said, well, I will eat as much meat as I want. Because if I don't eat the cows will be walking on the street. And you see that it's very dangerous to say that, even if you are young. Means that the people is not aware, the people doesn't mind what is going on. And we need to tell them why you think that is not so good for the rest of the world, for the rest of the city, for the rest of the citizens. Why? And if you are right to convince, go ahead. And if you don't, because you will find people that they don't like, they don't believe, they don't want,
Yes.
I am here, okay? I am satisfied what I have. And why I need to make an effort? Why I need to work 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day? I don't mind. I go to see Netflix or to the TV or to listen music or to go to the parties. I think that we have, all of us, that we believe in environmental better future for this planet. I think that we are very happy with the things that we do. Never stop and go ahead. That's my advice.
Thank you, ma'am.
I will add to
You're
that
welcome.
answer because I'm a school principal, also educator, also, and I work with young kids. So, you are going the right direction, especially up to the age of 11, 12, 13. But something happens after that, you know what, and some of you lose direction. If you can hold on to that, those very crucial and very difficult years in your life, and you're going to be great. Each one of us is enabled with great authority and power within us. But somehow something goes wrong sometimes. But you can always put yourself back on the track, and we try to do that. And why we got you students here to interact with, everybody who is on the program. I have been working for 2 or 3 decades with environmental sector, with students, educationists around the world. And we don't involve any money. My organization does not take any, does not give out any. Still, we are able to put out great shows, physical conferences, networking, and the event like this, because people are connected. And the kind of guest list we had, I'm so grateful to each one of them. The moment I reach out to them, they are happy and ready to answer. Although it may not be in their program list, I mean, including the United Nations Environment Program, 5 June is so important to them. All around the world, their authorities are heavily engaged in conferences, in physical conferences, and events. Across the world, they are so much in demand. But they take time to be with us for half an hour, 1 hour. That's the greatest thing we can do. And we get them here with all these efforts. Next year conference proceedings will start as soon as this one finishes. So it takes a year on to organize these events, emailing, contacting people, raising resources, and putting you back there. And that is why I'm so thankful to Dr. Norma and entire, I said, gang of the POP movement and the WSDF, because they are so helpful all the time. And if some of you can turn into real climate warriors, as I say, no matter what you do in life, you can always have this human being consciousness in you, a consciousness towards the environment inside you. Make it a part of your lifestyle, not just rather doing something out of an event show or something like that. So we are expecting Drisha and Komal, but they are having a bit of difficulty. And then we were supposed to be joined by Ricardo. He's a young journalist and pop mentor from Venezuela, a beautiful country, a lot marred by all sorts of things other than nature. But it's a beautifully rich natural heritage in Venezuela. But he's having a power outage, as we used to have in Delhi and NCR some time back, but we're better off with power these days. So we're waiting for them when they can join in. Meanwhile, we'll keep on this interaction. And again, I request Dr. Norma to stay with us, because your internet connection is improved. We can interact if you don't have any other engagements right now.
No.
I would. We had prepared a dance and a song for this event itself, beating plastic pollution. Some of his students who are the part of that dance group and the song also are still on the screen. So I would request Dr. JK sir to play track V1 and V2 together, one after another. JK sir, are you there? Can we play track V1 and V2? Yes.
In a world full of waste, we can't stand down. It's a time to act now, turn things around. Every day, plastic pollution, it's choking our earth. Sustainable choices, now give them birth. Change, yes we can. New generation, take a stand. Make a difference every day. Together we'll find better way. Imagine all the plastic used just once and thrown away. We can reduce, recycle to create a better day. Act now, make a difference, be the change you want to see. Our planet needs our help for a better world to be. Imagine all the creatures living without plastic waste. No more plastic in our oceans, planet's beauty will embrace. Be the change, yes we can. New generation, take a stand. Make a difference every day. Together we'll find better way. Come on, let's join together and take action. Don't delay, we can make a brighter future for a better world today.
So that was a little bit of this entire lyrics was composed by Ronnie Anthony in Taiwan. It's all amateurs, and the music are composed. We'll meet the musicians and composers later in the day, free of cost for us. And this tune became a hit with us because we are using it as our theme also. And wherever we have sent it, they have loved it, and the students like to dance on that also. We have one more dance, same number performed with the BFI students in Chandigarh. So can I request JK sir to play V3.
In a world full of waste, we can't stand down. It's a time to act now, turn things around. Every day, plastic pollution, it's choking our earth. Sustainable choices, now give them birth. Change, yes we can. New generation, take a stand. Make a difference every day. Together we'll find better way. Imagine all the plastic used just once and thrown away. We can reduce, recycle to create a better day. Act now, make a difference, be the change you want to see. Our planet needs our help for a better world to be. Imagine all the creatures living without plastic waste. No more plastic in our oceans, planet's beauty will embrace. Be the change, yes we can. New generation take a stand, make a difference every day. Together we'll find better way. Come on, let's join together and take action. Don't delay. We can make a brighter future for a better world today.
So that was the dance number performed by the BFI's students, and we have plenty of time to chill out, relax, because everybody in the process of either waking up or sleeping down. If you're trying to sleep, don't. Those who are waking up, wake up with a cup of coffee, because we have 7 more hours to go for this session. But I'm trying to impress on Dr. Norma Moose, so she can influence the Mexican government or maybe some big organization in Mexico to invite you to Mexico, and we can interact with the students over there. So I keep on saying Dr. Norma, and and fantastic cultures and traditions you have there both in Mexico. I love. I can't speak on the phone, but I love every single thing Mexican. I'm so addicted to it. Even in while we were in Brazil and Argentina, we were lucky enough to be able to go to places that you can't visit as a normal tourist. You go and stay in hotels and 5 stars. I remember, as I told you, when we were in Argentina, we visited a school and stayed there for 7 days, and without being able to speak a single word. They did not speak English. We did not speak Spanish at all. And we were taken to Iguazu. Iguazu is even bigger than Niagara Falls. And the authorities were so cooperative. The moment they learned that there is a group of students from India, they made us everything free for us. So we had a nice ride, treated like VIP and presidents in Brazil, Argentina, and we have some such lovely connections over there. And exactly, I want our students, a young student, to explore this world, because the divisions has been created with politicians around the world. Whenever you go, and I have been lucky enough to be able to visit almost 70, 80 countries in this world, stayed with people, teachers, students in their families, in homes. And wherever you go, that's my impression. Every part of this world, people are the same families, same studies, same children, same problems that we face here. There's absolutely no difference at all. Any difference you saw, it's only on the television screens and created and maintained by politicians to serve their own need and will. So when you grow up to a citizen, you need to be a global citizen, have this global concept in your mind, because every action you take, every single thing you do affects the life and quality of life, even in the remotest part of this world. That you must understand. So you're not living in isolation of nature or other people, but in synchronization with them. That you must learn. And as an educator, as somebody who has been benefited by lots of people in this world, despite coming from a humble background, I've been able to reach out to people around the world. That is my promise to you. No matter what you want to do, just like somebody said, Dr. Norma message you that you want to be yourself when you grow up, when you got to be 15. And this is our promise. No matter whatever you try to do in your life, wherever you go, we have the network connections. Any part of the you want to go, we'll find somebody who can support you. We will find somebody who can support you. Follow your dreams. Always follow your dreams. Even if you crash in your life, it is better to crash with a dream in your head rather than nightmare in hand. That I must tell you. So again, I'm giving a little small speech as if it's an annual day of the school, but I'm so impressed by the involvement of these young students who have been not only this 24 hours for past 7 days. They get a message in WhatsApp group, join the meeting, and they're on over there. I don't know how their parents are treating them, but they're there. And the educators, the teachers who are at the back of this program, who can't even be seen, they have their own kids. They have to cook at home also. They have to dress up their kids also. They have to leave for work also, and they're supporting us. So my hats off to all of you. And we're going to stay in this a little longer. I'm trying to read Dr. Ash Pachori, but I think he's in a place where network is a little difficult. We have some network issues with both Drisha and Komal and Ricardo in Venezuela as well, because he's having a power outage. But I would like to show you, we have lots of videos, and because of engagement in the sessions, we are not able to play all these videos. But we have beautiful video from United Nations Environment Program, and I would request JK sir to play V17. Whose responsibility is it to end plastic pollution? V17, please. Can you play V17?
Rajiv, we don't have V17.
Just a second. Anyway, can you play then? This is we have a clipping from Tim Christopherson when we launched ecosystem restoration in 2021. It's a little longest video, but I want Dr. Norma also to see it. It's a 15-minute clip. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Then can you play V19? Do you have it?
No.
Can I play it from my end?
Yes, of course you can. You can.
Wait a second. I will play.
Share your screen, Rajiv.
Yeah, just a second. I'm playing this one, the uncommon ground on UNEP, and then
yes. एक हाथ में तुम्हारा ये लेके बैठा हूँ फोन तुमसे बात कर रहा हूँ.
Can you mute yourself? I'm going to play it. Yes. Can you see it?
Yes, that is there.
Welcome to the first episode of Uncommon Ground, a place where we discuss the big issues affecting the environment with young leaders and influencers. I am Juan Pablo Celis Garcia, Youth Coordinator of the UN Environment Program.
It is so decided.
So today was one for the history books. It was truly a big day for the environment. There were high emotions when that gavel came down.
Rajiv.
What a moment when the global community came together at the UN Environment Assembly and adopted a resolution to develop a legally binding agreement. Every year, plastic pollution is one of the major contributors to our triple planetary crisis of climate change, pollution, and biodiversity loss. So what are we going to do about it? To discuss, we're joined by entrepreneur and media personality Franco Noriega and environmental activist Elizabeth Watuti. Welcome. Let's establish our uncommon ground on plastics by finding out where we agree and disagree. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
We all use and enjoy plastic products.
Agree.
Without immediate action, plastic pollution will continue to choke our environment.
Agree.
Ending plastic pollution starts and stops with governments.
Agree.
I mean, kind of, I think. Yes and no, you know, it also starts with us as individuals.
Oh, Franco, you disagree. But so Liz, you think governments bear the burden of responsibility for plastic pollution?
I definitely agree because I know that we need a permanent solution to end plastic pollution, because while we are also doing individual action, it all starts with a permanent solution to end it permanently.
Franco, what can individuals do to reduce the 300 million tons of plastic waste each year?
So in New York, for instance, the government has banned plastic, and we have many resources that we can go to use non-plastic products. For instance, these plastic bags made out of corn, so they're biodegradable and they're very like good for the environment. But then, the parallel of living in Mexico or Brazil, where they give you plastic bags for no reason, right? Like, by you becoming conscious that you don't need 20 plastic bags in one day, and that you can actually reuse your own plastic, that is a personal choice. So for all these reasons, I feel like, in my point of view, the education of the individual is extremely important. Accompanied by a government strategy, then it's a great game changer.
As an activist, Liz, you organize with others and you call out governments. Do you agree with what Franco says, that the individual has a role to play to end plastic pollution?
I definitely
Rajiv? Rajiv?
depends on we the consumers as much as it depends on the production. So this is a whole chain of plastic production and pollution. It's only that others have a bigger role to play. For example, governments have a bigger role to play in ensuring that we have a global solution that will affect each and every country, and also that will be followed by corporations and big businesses as well.
Franco, as an entrepreneur and chef, you are looking for ways to reduce waste. What do you suggest individuals do to make an impact?
I didn't realize how much plastic I had accumulated in the past 6 months, until one day I opened the wardrobe of my groceries, actually use one plastic bag for trash, and I had a huge amount of plastic bags. It was a very, very quick fix. I bought a very big plastic bag, like a very strong one, carry all of my groceries, and this was the biggest change, because in the past year I've probably seen like maybe 10 plastic bags as opposed to 400 plastic bags in the last 6 months. It is a small change in our lives, but a big impact in the planet, and try to see, what do we do in our everyday lives? How are we surrounded by unnecessary plastic that we can reuse?
Liz, what actions do you suggest people should take to help end plastic pollution?
So each and every person can do something about this, but it all starts also with education, and education by also educating yourself to make the right consumer choices, and educating yourself to also use your voice to push for global treaties also that make sure that we are talking about plastic pollution from the whole level, from extraction to the waste itself, because we cannot afford to leave anyone behind in finding solutions to this plastic pollution crisis.
These are all great points. What is clear to me is that there are many ways that we can all help to end plastic pollution. Individuals can make small changes to reduce the amount of plastic pollution. Collective action by joining local movements to call out governments and demand changes to policy. Learn and share knowledge to enable communities to understand the impact of plastic pollution. For more information on plastic pollution and what can be done to solve the problem, follow the links in the description below. And I want to thank you, Franco and Elizabeth, really for sharing your thoughts on plastic pollution. Joining us in another episode of Uncommon Ground as we discuss the big issues affecting the environment with young leaders and influencers. Thank you.
So that was from UNEP, and we have some great videos to play, and we are having time till 6:30, so it's plenty of time for interactions. And I think students also waking up slowly, little by little, and gathering their energies for the rest of the season. Our effort was to pull people from all walks of life, government, city government. Last evening we had Deputy Secretary from the Ministry of Urban Housing and Central Government of India, and he has also worked extensively. We have worked with him to putting a mini forest project in where I live now in Sonipat near New Delhi. The purpose the purpose is to Let this youth know that they can pull up all sorts of people, no matter how mighty or high the politician or diplomat or civil services can be. We need to integrate people, and you will find good meaning people, resourceful people everywhere. I would like to show you some little later, little interview we had when this generation of ecosystem was launched, Decade on Restoration was launched in 2021 by UNEP. Tim Christopherson was there with us live from Kenya. After UNEP has moved on to Salesforce, which is #1 CRM in the world, and he heads the climate action project over there. He's the head of climate action project, and he's trying to raise funds. You know, whenever you want to do something, money is essential, and companies are very unwilling. People, millionaires, are very unwilling to part with their monies. You know, if you analyze data, those who are going to economics or studying for MBA degrees and something like that, Master in Business Administration, almost 90% of the world's wealth is with 10%, less than 10% of the people. So all the resources in terms of money and richness, 10%, less than 10% people hold 95% resources of this world. So if you can target these 10% people, you can solve all your 90% problems. And what I mean by targeting, I mean involve them, push them to commit themselves, because their actions has affected planet also. So we have been recently some litigation, some great decisions coming from the courts also. Bigger companies like Exxon, Enron, and Shell. Shell was recently, there was a court order recently against Shell companies, are very powerful companies. Of course, they did business, but today their businesses are harming them. And you are guys, you are the youth who can move these companies, no matter how powerful you are, how powerful they are. You can always move them to turn their actions into real practices, or cut down their actions, which is harming the planet. And you remember Dr. Nial, we had an interview with Dr. Nial Barminder and two young girls from here, Barminder and Nandini took it. And he made a very nasty point. He said, if you refuse to work for companies which are harming environment, if these companies do not have good people to run their companies, they will shut down automatically. But that takes some sacrifice. Like if they are so powerful that you can't hold against them, do something they can't hold against you. So if you refuse to take up a job offer, no matter how big the package is, I remember when you graduate, the companies come to your campus to recruit you, and they offer you big packages, 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, and hundreds of dollars, $1,000 to recruit you. But if you do not have the avarice in your heart, if you think that the companies are not doing and they are bad for environment, refuse their job. If they don't have good people to work with, they will shut down automatically. And actually, this youth-led climate actions have started getting impacting the countries and companies around the world. So that is the power of youth, and that is why we're here. And as I said already, promise, no matter what you try to do in life, we'll always support you, because your actions will only improve this planet. So this is a 15-minute interview with Tim Christopherson, but there were some very valid points made and asked by our young climate activists and our youth volunteers also. I'll play this video, and as a memory, because we have completed 3 years of United Nations Environment Program Decade on Restoration, and when Susan Gardner joins little later on the day, during closing ceremony, we are going to ask her how far she sees, because only 7 years are left. UNEP itself said we have got only 10 years to change things. Otherwise, it's going to become so horrible that we are completely done away with. So we are going to ask, 3 years have passed, 7 years are left. So where are we? Are we going to survive? Or are we going for extinction? So can I request you to play track? Okay, you don't have the track, so I'll play it from my end. I'm so sorry, I'm so horrible at playing tracks that I mess up my screens all the time, but I'll try to play it again. Just hold on with me. Yes. I'll share my screen now. Good morning, Tim.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here.
So welcome to, I wouldn't say India, welcome to the entire world, because this program is being watched across 75 countries, and we have had some very important guests, and we have guests from all walks of life, all ages, youth, climate activists, obviously the United Nations Environment Program. And thank you so much for assisting us in putting up this program and being able to join from there despite your very hectic schedule. This is the copy of the cover page, and I'm sure that they will be very happy, because the opening article, the cover story is about the decade of restoration, obviously because it is essential to all our themes for next 10 years.
That is fantastic. I also just did a screenshot for our social media, if you don't mind. This is great.
Yes, I will leave the platform to Tim now.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, and hello again, everybody. I've been really looking forward to this event, and my colleagues in our India office also really recommended that I should make the time to be with you today. So very happy about this and looking forward to also questions from the audience. I understand this is live on Facebook and other channels. So thank you very much for the invitation. I want to briefly outline what generation restoration is all about. So the United Nations, and led for the decade by the UN Environment Programme and the Food and Agriculture Organization, is calling the whole world to rally behind the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration. And this decade that will start this year, 2021, and run until 2030, has as its aim to prevent, halt, and reverse the degradation of ecosystems worldwide. Nothing more, nothing less. But if you unpack that sentence a bit, that is a huge and daunting task, because we have already degraded our ecosystems to such a degree that conservation alone is no longer enough. Of course, we have to conserve the natural ecosystems we have left, but that alone will not be enough to ensure that we have quality of life for generations to come. We have to be proactive, and that means we have to restore our ecosystems. We put out a report yesterday that got quite a lot of coverage already in the media, and we'll share that with you also, to share, please, with everybody online. In that report, we basically draw the baseline of where we are today and where we need to be in 2030. The UN Decade is both about doing actions in the field and restoring, getting together with your community, your school, your office colleagues, and doing something for restoration, whether it's cleaning up a river, cleaning up a lake, a beach, planting a forest, tending to a community garden. There are so many ways you can get involved. Probably the most important way, though, is what you are doing now, is to raise the awareness and be politically active, because that means that our politicians and senior decision makers in private sector and in government will take this more seriously. They will take nature more seriously. And this is badly needed. If we look back until 1990, so barely 30 years ago, the world has lost forests of 420 million hectares. That's an area the size of India plus Nigeria together. Forests gone in just 30 years. So if we continue with that trend, we are literally eroding the ground on which we stand. We're cutting off the branch that we sit on. So this cannot continue. Since 1990, productive capital in the world has doubled. You know, cars, buildings, roads, factories. Human capital has also increased by about 10%. Education, longevity, health. What has decreased by 40%, though, in the same time, is our natural capital. So we have fueled this economic growth at the expense of nature, and we're coming to a point now where that economic model does no longer work, because the harm that it does now outstrips the benefits. Air pollution in developing and developed countries alike is causing 7 million deaths a year. Plastic in the ocean is now so pervasive that in almost every fish that you eat, you can be sure that there's some plastic included in your meal. Forest loss has slowed a little bit, but we're still losing 10 million hectares of forests a year. I come from Germany, and that happens to be the entire forest area of Germany. That's 10 million hectares. That's what we still lose every year. So this has to be turned around, and we have to demand from our political leaders that they stop and reverse this trend, because it's not something that school children and the youth can do themselves. And it's unfair to put this burden on the next generation and say the youth will fix it. That's actually quite an old excuse, and we should not keep using that. No, it's our political leaders of today who have to fix it, and the youth and others have to demand that they fix it. So what you do is a very important activity in support of generation restoration. In the UN Decade, we have many ways to engage, and many of them are online. So your approach has been well before its time, and I think is all the more relevant today, because we do have many opportunities to use the online space to connect. So tomorrow we will launch a digital hub for everybody who wants to become part of generation restoration, where you can meet, learn, upload, download, share information, find projects you want to support or be part of, find funding, find resources, find peers, other schools who want to do something. And that digital hub will grow over the next few years, and we very much hope that you'll be an active partner in that, in sharing and uploading information. So I'm very much looking forward to any questions you might have, or from the audience or from the other panelists. Thank you, Rajiv, and thanks everybody.
Hello everybody, my name is Pavni, and thank you, Tim sir, for coming. I have a very basic question that we've seen that for many past years, youth voice has been very crucial in forcing governments for climate change. And during this decade of restoration, do you think there could be a greater shift in youth focus towards concrete climate actions?
That's a great question, Pavani, and very timely. For the UN Decade, we are just about to launch what we call the Youth Task Force, with a group called the Children and Youth Major Group in UNEP. So there's a self-organized group of youth representatives, and they elect people to who participate in all UNEP key meetings. And with those two colleagues and with the youth constituency that they represent, we're setting up this task force. So we'd be very happy to not only know about youth-led initiatives, but really try to facilitate them through this digital hub, through the youth task force, because sometimes it helps to know that you're not alone doing something. That is already a help, right? If you know that there are 100 other initiatives worldwide that want to do what you want to do, and you can connect with them, for me at least, that gives a lot of hope and gives a feeling of joint coordinated action. The other aspect is political, and I think here there has been a shift already at the UN level that youth voices are being heard much more. That is my impression, that in every meeting that we are organized, we're now asked to include voices from the youth. We have seen that also in our meeting with the member states. We're working closely with an office of the UN Secretary General called the Special Envoy on Youth, whose team is closely involved in this UN Decade. And of course, the main hashtag we chose for this decade, Generation Restoration, also, I hope, implies that we very much want to include all generations, but in particular youth and the next generation, in ensuring that together we can build a better planet, or let's say, in this case, rebuild a better ecosystem in many parts of the world where this is still possible. And maybe one final thought, Mika, that also comes back to your points and to what Pavani said. The scale of the challenge is maybe daunting, but we also need a mind shift when we talk about this, because we sometimes think, nature is nice and it's maybe nice to plant a tree or two, but we have no problem imagining that somebody's building a 4-lane highway from Delhi to Mumbai, and that costs $5 billion. We have no problem imagining that. So let's do the same with the 26 million hectares of land restoration that the Indian government, the Prime Minister himself, has committed. It just has to be done. There's not even a shortage of money in India, because you have something called the Kampa Fund, There's $5 billion sitting in it, waiting to be spent on ecosystem restoration, which is its purpose. So there really are no excuses. It can be done. We have to think about ecosystem restoration at a very different scale, though. Think about it as an engineering challenge, as a challenge that is like a major infrastructure project, like building an airport and employing, of course, tens of thousands of people to do it. So this is the change we need. Sorry, my answer was slightly longer than your question, but I hope I answered
No, that's
it.
absolutely all right, sir. So another question which I don't know, it just popped in my head that, as things stand today, we are on the verge of breaking our connection to nature. And for example, we all are here and you and I are talking here through this medium. Now, we are continents apart and we are nations apart, but if there's just some glitch in the digital connection, that we know the consequences. Exactly what brings to my question is that when we forgot that we had bio connections, do you think that this decade restoration would not go as planned and we will actually break our connections with nature?
Again, this is a question that is absolutely at the heart of the strategy of the UN decade, and we have spent a lot of time thinking about exactly this. There's a saying that search your heart with all diligence, for out of it flow the issues of the world. Meaning that human attitude and our thinking shapes the world. Everything around us has once been an idea. Every house, every road, every building. So what we think and how we see the world shapes what the world looks like. So therefore, your question is absolutely essential. Our relation with nature has to change from being a free-for-all buffet that we can eat until there's nothing left to being stewards of nature. But the most fundamental shift, probably, Pavani and everybody, I think, is that we have to understand that we are part of nature. Nature does not exist. We are part of cities, are ecosystems, and the surrounding that we shape are ecosystems as well. We are part of nature, so every damage that we do to nature is a damage we do to ourselves. So that's probably the most fundamental shift that we want to bring about with the UN decade. It's a mind shift, and that in itself can then shift.
And before we put questions to Tim again, there's a lovely song that we composed for this theme around the same.
What's gone is gone. Let's move on. Let's move on.
That was beautiful. Please, can you share that with us so we can also add
yeah,
this
sure.
to our UNEP and FAO playlists? There are some things that the UN can do, and one thing is, of course, that we are always happy to highlight if a country is doing well. Tomorrow, the host country for World Environment Day is Pakistan, and I believe the Indian government is paying quite close attention to what Pakistan is doing and what is being showcased and all the positive things happening there. So of course, this is one thing the UN can do, is to inspire other countries to do more based on leadership that is happening elsewhere. And but what is much more important than that is what you do, because in the strategy for the UN decade, we very deliberately speak about building a global movement because of exactly what you pointed out, the lack of political will. Political will is a function of what people demand, at least in democratic societies, but even elsewhere in the world. What people demand and what they want ultimately will influence political will. This is what political will is made of. So in the decade, we have three pathways of action. The first is to build a global movement that will demand change, but also do things ourselves. I mean, we can all do ecosystem restoration as well, but there has to be a demand for change. The second pathway is building the political will, and the third is building the financial and technical capacity to do ecosystem restoration at scale. These are the three pathways of the UN Decades strategy. And therefore, what you do is so important, and please do keep it up, and every voice matters. Every action matters, but every voice perhaps matters even more. So thanks for that question.
Thank you, Tim. I think we have overshot you by 1 minute. So thank you so much for being with us. And I'm sure that we are going to be in interaction for at least next 10 years, if not longer. Thank you so much for being with us. And
thank you.
Any possibility to rejoin during these 24 hours, you're most welcome. Thank you.
I will try to do that. And my next meeting is not nearly as exciting as this one. So I wish I could stay with you longer. But thank you for all these great questions and for the enthusiasm and for what you're doing. Please do keep it up. And indeed, we have a decade ahead of us. So this is only the beginning. Thank you very much.